It's beautiful out here today, and I'm just taking a moment to just unpack a couple of things because it's important for us to take a moment and reflect on things in life. And I want to talk about a couple of things. The first thing, not so heavy, more of on a lighter note, but as human beings, we are created, and as we go through life, as the storms come and go about, uh, we're created to sustain that and go through it and still continue to produce at the same time. As you look at the trees all around me, like these trees have been through so many storms in life. These trees have been growing for years and years and years and years. And as they've gone through the many seasons and the storms, you still see beautiful green leaves. So even something hard still has the ability to grow something soft. It still has the ability to still contribute and give life back. And so as we go through life, it's important for us to learn the things that we got to learn, become who we need to become in life to attain our purpose in life. But it's also important to remember things like compassion and empathy and love. Because being strong doesn't mean that you're unable to produce something, that's a little more emotionally driven or emotionally impactful to someone else. So extend a hand, remember compassion, remember empathy as you go through your own storms and trials through life, because at some point in time, you could be on the other side of that. And kind of going into that and segueing into like the next topic, or the next subject. We're still in this pandemic. COVID hasn't gone away, but what we noticed really early on is that as the global pandemic impacted people across the entire nation, there were a lot more cases of those that were struggling mentally, trying to get assistance with depression and anxiety, which is, it's good that everyone's trying to get help, but it just shows that the entire globe went through a traumatic event. And so a lot of people were changed, forever good. I hope it's the direction we're going. Um, but I'm bringing that up because everyone has hit some type of low point. Everyone has experienced a deep saddening. Some of us have experienced depression. Some of us have experienced anxiety and what that's like. And I can tell you that even as I have experienced that in the past, I've also experienced the no turn back moment. And so as you look back at your life, like how are you giving back is one question, but the other question should be like, hey, what was that no turn back moment for you, where you realized that you are not willing to go backwards anymore, but you were going to take a stand. You were going to continue to put one foot in front of the next to make progress. What was that moment for you? And sometimes it's not just one moment. Sometimes it could be an accumulation of events that are taking place over time. I can remember when I was really down low, where I felt like I was just gripped by depression, anxiety, and I felt like I couldn't even scream and noise come out of my mouth at one point in time. It's just like everything felt so internal. And I remember not even wanting to do a lot of different things. I didn't want to do the things that normally brought me gratification. I didn't want to really interact with people either. There was just a point where I was just like, what, this is a very low point. But at that same time, and I say that God has a sense of humor, because God wasn't going to let me sit there in my own sadness. He wasn't going to let me sit there in my own depression or anxiety, because I still had to earn a living. And so I still had to show up and take care of business at work. And so my physical circumstances were not great at the time. I was living in a home, and I didn't have running water. I didn't have electricity at the time. And so I had to get up extra early in order to show up to work, before everyone else got there, in order to, just, brush my teeth and take care of my personal hygiene, take a shower, like all those basic things that we kind of take for granted every now and again. I was waking up at, or getting to work at 3 o'clock in the morning in order to just make sure that no one else saw what I was doing. And so I say that God has a sense of humor because at this point in time, like I didn't feel like doing anything, but I knew that in order to be able to, keep up, with eating or sustaining life, I had to do certain things, and I created a string of healthy habits along the way. Getting up early has become something that has just been great for me, emotionally and mentally, and even physically, because I do all the things. I wake up, I pray, I meditate, I exercise, get my workout out for the day, and that's before I start the workday. And so even though I went through a really, really difficult time, I learned through that difficult time how to pick up healthy habits that I now sustain, every single day. And my wife would tell you that I'm up before, the kids get up or anyone else gets up, each and every morning, no matter the day of the week. But that's become a part of me. It's become a part of my healthy habit routine as I move on throughout life. And just here's something else. A lot of times, when we're going through tough times in life, when we're going through a difficult moment, and we overcome that and we get through it, we associate those moments with a heavy emotion like sadness. Like, hey, I went through this. It was a difficult time. This was a heavy emotional time for me. And so I learned that I could create some challenging and difficult times on my own in my environment, and associate emotions that weren't as heavy but were more on the positive side, like the emotion of feeling like I overcame something or success. And so I started challenging myself, like any of the things that I had to do in a certain timeline, or everyone else expected, hey, you've got 30 days to do this. Well, I would make it a point like, hey, I don't want to take 30 days. I think that, if I focus and I break my time out, I can do this in 2-hour increments and get this done, probably in less than 24 hours over the next 2 days. And so I started doing things like that. And as I became like just, engulfed in these, difficult or tough times, some of that was on me, but, everyone else was benefiting from it as well. And so I began to believe that everything that I was doing was a lot bigger than me. My sense of purpose and the way that I was connecting with everyone, it just became extremely important. And so now I have moments and memories of where, I've realigned or I've reconfigured my own neuroplasticity associated with some of those heavy emotions in moments where, now my tough times, I look forward to them. I look forward to them because now it's an opportunity for me to overcome something. Now it's an opportunity for me to do something that has never been done before. Now it's an opportunity for me to contribute to the greater humanity and give something back. Now it's an opportunity for me to do something first and open the door so others can see that they can do the same thing.